Shalom Aleichem. This podcast is brought to you by Rabbi Yehuda Shane, who is the administrator of Kashrus Anytime, which is a division of the Kosher Consumers Union, a 501c3 organization. Today we're going to address a topic we maybe should have addressed really earlier, to bring to your attention some of the issues that you may find in the camps that you have now with the overnight camps, some of the day camps, etc. As you know, just about all the camps are not under hashgacha of a reputable hashgacha agency such as the OU, etc., which they really should be, because there are a number of issues that can happen. And I'm going to bring up just some of them. I'm not going to be able to cover everything. Question is, are you really comfortable with the questionable kosher standards in your child's camp? Every camp, as I said, should be under a recognized, reliable hashgacha. Do you inquire as to your child's camp kosher standards if it's acceptable? Those same standards and hashgachas on items, is that what you're using in your home all year? Are there written policies for the acceptable hashgachas? If yes, obtain a copy, review it. You might be surprised. What should I ask? Well, who's in charge? Who sets the standards? Any shilas that arise, who is the final rabbinical authority? And don't tell me that shilas don't arise. It doesn't exist. When you have no shilas arise, you know you have major problems and basically take your bags and run. Are they using exclusively pre-checked vegetables such as Positive and Kosher Garden? Or they just taking whatever there is and they're rinsing themselves because prices are high? I don't know what they're doing. If yes, whose vegetables? Not most of them, but all brands that are being used. Don't ask them what vegetables and they'll give you the name of one or two brands. You want to know all the vegetables. If they're pre-checked, whose are they using, and see if it meets your standard. If no, who's checking them? Is he trained? If he was trained, by who was he trained? And is it only being rinsed instead of really being washed? Is it being washed properly and checked with some sort of system? Hope they're not using strawberries, blueberries, or raspberries, because basically there is none of them that really can be used. No difference if it's fresh or frozen or canned, etc. There basically is that much infestation. Bishul Yisrael issues: convection ovens and steam kettles. Are the convection ovens with a pilot or they're pilotless? If they're pilotless, usually when you open up the door, the fire goes off, and then when the guy closes the door, basically he's the one that turns on the fire. So you have your ovens become non-kosher, your utensils are non-kosher, and all your food in there. Everything is bishul akum. Is there bishul yisrael for Sephardim being addressed? I sure would be surprised if it is. Is always a Shomer Shabbos present in the kitchen to make sure that the flames and the ovens, that there's somebody there that can take care of it? He'll sometimes maybe miss something because when he turned around, etc. Are all the pilots working? Is Chol Yisrael, Pas Yisrael being strictly observed? The brains and everything else, are you comfortable with it? Hafrashas Challah, they do make things, they make pizza, they make other type of things from those. Who's responsible for that Hafrashas Challah? Does he know the halachas of Hafrashas Challah? Who is responsible to check all deliveries coming in for compliance to the standard established? Because basically what happens is, whoever made the delivery, they drop it off on the couple of skids or pallets they have, and the workers, the goyim, will go and take everything in and put it back where it belongs. But somebody has to check, because not necessarily of what you have in the beginning of the camp season that was checked out, and you know exactly what it is, and it was hopefully in full compliance. When they start filling in other orders and they send you, you may have ordered from XYZ company or that brand, but whatever they have, they're going to send you. They keep on making exchanges with whatever they want. Is there a properly trained, experienced mashgiach in the kitchen at all times? And is there somebody to take them over? Because basically, these kitchens start 6 o'clock in the morning and they may work till 10, 11 o'clock at night and Thursday night till later. It's not fit for one person. You have to have somebody else that could change. I know it may be an expense, whatever else it is, but something has to be done. Is the kitchen locked always at night? Is it locked Friday afternoon? Because basically Friday afternoon, nobody's around. The goyim drains over there. You don't know what happens. You don't know who has the keys, who goes into here, who goes into there, etc., etc. Are there separate areas for dairy, meat, and parve, including the sinks? Are all pots and utensils clearly marked for dairy, meat, and parve? Clearly marked, not just engraved that you have different colors and you know exactly what it is. Who is responsible for everything requiring seals? Whether it's meat, whether it's dairy items, cheeses, blintzes, etc., etc., or it's fish, or it's liver, whatever else it is, there has to be a system over there that not he ordered the fresh fish and it came and the guy brought it. There are no chesamas on it, there's no skin on it, there's no nothing over there that comes in. Somebody has to know. The buck must stop someplace. It happens to be that much camp equipment is purchased or gotten as used equipment. Who koshered it? Is he a professional? Does he know what he's doing and how it has to be koshered? Is he aware that a brazier or a tilt skillet or kettle can't be koshered when Hagala requires libin? Is he professional enough in knowing how to do libin without damaging the equipment? Does all fresh fish come with simonim and or seals? The canteen items being sold, does all of it meet your standard you use at home? Or did the camp give out the canteen to somebody and he's basically on his standards and has nothing to do with the camp? It's an outside concession, which is a very dangerous thing, but it can happen. Is the kitchen locked basically every night and at all times when somebody's not in the kitchen? Is it locked? Not just the refrigerator is locked. And when you have some of the workers, they don't like the food that you had. They want to decide they want to bring from the outside some pizza. They'll sit down. Sometimes when nobody's in the kitchen, then they'll even heat it up in the oven. Yes, these things do happen. They'll heat it up in the oven, and then they'll eat that pizza, which was basically non-kosher pizza, etc. And very often, most of the time, they wouldn't even wash their hands afterward. Then they start potchking around and doing whatever preparations has to be done with your food. That's what they're doing over there, which is a very, very dangerous thing. Is it possible that children or other items might be butch in the Solomon iron if it's left Friday night or it's left any other night that something is cooking in the pots and it's not sealed and the kitchen is not sealed up and closed up? And sometimes they'll let, the guy should come in the morning and open up the kitchen so when the chef and the other ones comes in, everything should be open. So if he has a key to it, really having the kitchen locked is really not having the kitchen locked. You should take a look at Moshe Feinstein has one of the tshuvas over there of how you could, if and how you could have a guy working in your house, basically clean up lady, whatever else it is, and she may use some of the utensils, etc., etc. Now, we're all kalim toivled. Is there kosher mezuzahs on all doors and bunks and storage areas? Very often we find they're not, or they're there for many years. It's gone through a winter or whatever else it is, or they painted up the thing over there and paint leaked in, or water leaked into the things. They're not kosher. Go around and check. You don't want to have your children to be in a camp that does not have proper kosher mezuzahs. Are all pilots working at all times? Somebody should check it. That's right. Are the convection ovens pileless? Then you need ovens and utensils may have a problem of bishlakum. Are there any peeled eggs, onions, or garlic left overnight? If there is, was salt put on it, or oil, or something like it? Do any workers bring their own food into the kitchen, such as pizza? Do they make their own eggs? Is there separate grills for meat and fish, or is it just cleaned? Really, it has to be more than just cleaned. Is there separate spices for meat and fish? Is there separate crumbs that's being used for breading of fish or meat? Are all the utensils color-coded for dairy, meat, parve, and fish? Is all the wine mevushal? May guests bring their own food or wines? Usually when they'll bring wines, very often it'll be non-mevushal, and you have goyish waiters and goyish people around. Who checks the eggs? So a lot of them want to say, well, the guy could check the eggs, it's softened in the ara, etc., etc. But most of the places around, especially Lakewood and most probably in the Pennsylvania, especially camps that are in Pennsylvania, in the Poconos, or in other places in New York, may very well be getting the eggs from Pennsylvania, which is from Amish country. And a blood spot is a serious issue as they have roosters with their chickens, so it's not a draban, it's a deraisa. So you really should have a yid that's checking the eggs. Hashem Shabbos that knows how to check, and not he's talking to somebody else, or he's having a race. Does the water in the camp require filtration? As we know that New York City, the water requires filtration because of the copepods. In many other areas, it also requires filtration. It happens to be in Lakewood. Sometimes they also take reservoir water in Lakewood. Usually it's well water, which usually doesn't need filtration. But when it's reservoir water, it does need it. And people really, even in Lakewood, don't know when they're using reservoir, when they're using well water. Question is, what are they using the camps? And if it does require filtration, is it filtered? Is there a system of waiting 6 hours for hard cheeses? What happens sometimes when they're used on eggplant parmesan, they'll give Friday afternoon or something like that, and they may be using some hard cheese. And it turns out to be that by the time you're going to eat the Friday night Suda, you don't have the 6 hours. Is somebody aware of those things and taking care of it? What's about hot systems water for Shabbos? What are they doing? Is there electric urns? If there is electric urns, are they being shut off for Shabbos? Is the inlet being shut off for Shabbos? Who's dealing with that? Then there's the very serious problem of Amir Lakim issues. Who's dealing with that to know what is Amir Lakim? It's not that you could go and tell the guy Shabbos to do anything else that you want him to do for you, etc., etc. Does anybody know how to warm up food on Shabbos? There's a lot of different issues in doing it. Is there a proper Eruv around the property? Do people know to where the Eruv goes? Is it basically marked very clearly? People know to where the Eruv is. The meat, chicken, and cold cuts, are they of the brand that you would eat at home? They're looking basically for the cheapest they could get. So if they get a deal someplace, that is what you're basically going to have over there. And do you feel comfortable sending your children to a camp like that? All of these, it's not a shas chak or something like it that basically look away. You're on a flight, you're not in the midbar, you're not anything like it. Before you book the camp, you have to make sure that it meets all of these kind of things. Yeah. Are you aware, or you should be aware, that many of the international hashgachas this past year stopped accepting many Star K ingredients in their products? Do you know if they're using Star K ingredients over there? Very likely they're using tuna fish from them and a lot of other kind of fish or any other products over there. You should be aware that's not what you want to have for your children. Don't forget, Timtum Alev will affect them all year round and everything else, and it will affect them for the rest of their lives. Be very, very nizer in these type of things. Kol Tuv, and thank you very much, and Hatzlach.